All right, so as you all can see, a very sad news have hit the industry, the passing of Mr. Ibu. So, Mr. Ibu went in for surgery today at 4 a.m. and he didn't come out again from the surgery. What is funny is that they went in for this surgery. I don't know. They didn't contact the people that are close to him because I asked somebody and he said he was not informed. And this is somebody that he was beside him throughout the period that he was in the hospital. He said he was not informed. And then by 6 o'clock, boom, they called him and they told him that Mr. Ibu don't buy. All I can say is a lot of things may have said online about the whole issue. Now let me know what I don't see. Now let me know what me I don't hear. So I'm not gonna come out and start talking now. You don't buy. To me, it already buy since. You understand? Based on what I saw. To me, it already buy. It already buy before. It already buy since. So it was just managing. It's so sad. Another advice I can give in this regard is that men, you have to be really careful. Women, you have to be really careful of a polygamous home. Men and women, it's not even only about men. Men and women, be careful about polygamy. Some of them will be the end of you. For men, if you're successful, try as much as possible to be careful of women that you bring into your life. And women as well, be careful of getting deceived by a man that is already a family man. You understand? That's the only thing I can say as to an advice. You understand? Lastly, all of us go by. All of us go by at the end of the day. Mr. Ibu went through a lot. For the short period that I went to that hospital, I'll tell you for free, went through a lot. The family were not really supportive. That one I know for a fact. They were not supportive at all. For crying out loud, when I leave person for hospital, they go drag money for outside. This life, the best thing that you can ever happen to you is to have a good family around you. Now leave family, now leave person, no cater, go they drag money, hey, they arrest this one, they arrest that one, they arrest that one. You understand? Not pointing accusing finger on anybody, but I will say that the man had a very terrible family. It's emotional, to be very honest. I'm emotional because the guy is a legend. But then again, they're all gonna buy at the end of the day. So rest in peace to Mr. Ibu. A lot of us that genuinely love you, and then whatever thing that happened to you, by the grace of God, the people, everybody that made your life a living hell would actually, you know what, just rest in peace. Rest in peace, Mr. Ibu.
All right, so that was the Very-Darkman. He just released a statement on Instagram. Now, for those of you who've been following this case from day one, you will do realize that this whole Mr. Ibu case, from the very beginning, that the whole issue came out that he was sick, to the very time that issues came up about Mr. Ibu, the funds which were being misused allegedly by his son, one of his sons, and also his daughter-in-law. The daughter-in-law apparently and allegedly is the one that Mr. Ibu has been doing all of those TikTok with. Now the issue goes so severe to the extent that Mr. Ibu, after he found out that after he allegedly found out that his son and daughter-in-law had conspired to take money that was being donated to him and divert it into other accounts so they can use it for their own personal gains, Mr. Ibu sued them, made police arrest them, and he again to made the daughter-in-law pull all the videos of herself and then Mr. Ibu. Now that is not even all. The Very-Darkman has been giving us updates from day one about this whole issue. The Very-Darkman has been giving us updates from day one about this whole issue. And today, the Very-Darkman again is here. Now, what is the Very-Darkman saying about this issue? What is his reaction about this whole Mr. Ibu issue? What is the reaction? Well, according to what we are learning currently, the Very-Darkman is saying that there's a lot of things that is going on, that went on before the death of Mr. Ibu. Now, the Very-Darkman is telling us that even the family, or there was a friction between Mr. Ibu and the family, because the family felt like Mr. Ibu had gone wayward or had gone outside the whole thing, family issue, and then made the family seem like they were thieves or perhaps fraudulent people. So everyone was very careful of how to deal with Mr. Ibu. The fans which were even coming in to support Mr. Ibu, people were afraid to touch the money. But then that is not the fault of Mr. Ibu. Mr. Ibu was only doing that because of what he had seen and the evidence that had been presented to him. So the Very-Darkman is saying that there were friction between them. And again, the Very-Darkman is telling us that the hospital that Mr. Ibu died in, the family members or people who are close to Mr. Ibu are saying that they did not even know who took Mr. Ibu to that hospital. So it tells you that even the beginning of this whole news and even how it even came out, it is something that tells us that this whole thing is, we need to really look into it, because the Very-Darkman is now telling us that the hospital that they took Mr. Ibu, the hospital that they took Mr. Ibu in, that particular hospital, they are saying that they don't know, they don't know the person who took Mr. Ibu to that particular hospital. Now I want to read a very short article, or I want to get the hospital name that Mr. Ibu died in. Then you will realize that indeed some of these major concerns that are coming in right now in regards to Mr. Ibu's health, it is very legitimate. It is very legit. Now, we are learning that Mr. Ibu died at the Evercare Hospital in Lagos. Now, let me put this on the screen. This is coming from, once again, Daily Post.ng. This is Nigeria's biggest news portal. And then they are saying or giving us a clue that Mr. Ibu died at a particular hospital. And now these same people, the family members who are involved to make sure that Mr. Ibu is well fed, is well catered for, main key figures of the family are coming out to say that they don't know who took Mr. Ibu to that hospital. Now, let's put this on the screen. You realize that what we've put on the screen, let me read it. It says, Nollywood veteran John Okafor, aka Mr. Ibu, is dead. We've really established that. The actor reportedly passed away at the Evercare Hospital in Lagos State after a protracted battle with illness. So you realize that in here, what they are telling us is that Mr. Ibu died at the Evercare Hospital in Lagos. Now, the family members who are close to Mr. Ibu are saying that they don't know the person who took Mr. Ibu to that hospital. So it tells you that even before Mr. Ibu's death, there was friction, there were concerns, there were confusion. And this confusion ultimately led to the neglect of Mr. Ibu, resulting in his death. I don't know if you know where I'm coming from. Because Mr. Ibu had reported the issue, some of the family members were allegedly angry, furious that Mr. Ibu had gone to disgrace the family, had gone out to disgrace the family. So in retaliation, or to protect their image and the fear that Mr. Ibu might come out one day to expose them, a lot of people chose the latter, that, okay, I don't want to be part of this. Now, again, one of the key things that the Very-Darkman actually posted or has said, he even posted this on his status as we are putting a preview of it on the screen. He says, run away from polygamy, run. Now, the Very-Darkman is telling us that this whole Mr. Ibu issue, one thing that we need to take note of, or one of the key things we need to take account of, is the fact that Mr. Ibu was apparently involved in polygamy. Now, those of you who've been following Mr. Ibu, you realize that Mr. Ibu has been married multiple times. I think on count about 3 times. And apparently, even up until his death, Mr. Ibu did not even have any specific person or any person that we can say that this person is apparently the wife of Mr. Ibu, because apparently all the 3 wives had reportedly divorced, or Mr. Ibu had reportedly divorced all of them. So, he had children with some, he also had children with others. So there was confusion brewing, and because of that, we will take care of Mr. Ibu, we will take care of his cost, let the money come here. The friction ultimately led to neglect. So Mr. Ibu's concubines and the wives that he had married before and divorced, they were fighting amongst themselves, forgetting that the ultimate goal here is saving Mr. Ibu, not going after the money, not making sure that other family members who are trying to take Mr. Ibu's money will be jailed or something. But in the fighting, they neglected the main figurehead, the person that they were ultimately tasked and mandated to protect, that is Mr. Ibu. So that is why the Very-Darkman posted this on Instagram, saying that run away from polygamy, run. And that is why some of the family members now are coming out to say that the hospital that Mr. Ibu died, they never knew of it. They don't even know the person who took Mr. Ibu to that hospital. I don't know if these whole thing ring a bell. But currently on social media, people are reacting. Now, currently, if you don't know, Mr. Ibu's son was arrested not so long ago. And the charge that was put on Mr. Ibu's son was he conspired to fraud Mr. Ibu, and he even stole money from Mr. Ibu. So the EFCC together with other, they arrested him, and also arrested Mr. Ibu's daughter-in-law. Apparently, the son, Mr. Ibu's son, the woman that she is married to, police arrested her as the main accomplice, allegedly, in trying or taking Mr. Ibu's money. The funds that were donated by his fans all over the world to him, those two people allegedly took their money, diverted it in other accounts, and the main motive was to leave Lagos or Nigeria and go and reside in the United Kingdom permanently. And all of those people have been arrested. The good news is that the accounts involved have also been frozen, and the monies have been diverted back to Mr. Ibu. So we don't know if all of these things that were happening ultimately led to the neglect of Mr. Ibu. But as we said, the Very-Darkman have come out with a statement. Now, I want to go on social media, especially this particular live that we are doing, and read some few comments here. Those of you who are joining this particular feed, this is exactly what is really going on. But I want to read some comments here. More comments are coming in here, and this is coming from Hroka Dogas. He says, arrest war legend. Deborah Asari says, R.I.P. Kofi Amwa. Why? Ike Zambia, so rest in peace. Guru Satan, he put out a crying emoji.